What is going on, guys? My name is DJ Miles and I'm here with Infinity Joe, and this week we're going to be talking about Dr. Stone episode 5. Stay tuned.
嘘をつかないことは分かっていた。できれば殺したくないってのは俺の本心だよ。
And before we begin with this episode review, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more anime content down the line. So let's go ahead, Joe, and discuss Dr. Stone episode 5, Stone World, the beginning. The cool thing I like about Dr. Stone is that it always pretty much picks off right from the events of the last episode. But this is a slow episode.
Yeah. This
is the least exciting episode I got. Dr. Stone, I think, has to prove much more than what Fire Force is doing.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Where we find out Tsukasa's pretty goddamn pretentious, saying, you know, if I was friends with you guys, look at all these memories we all be having together. And I'm like, no, you dick, you don't get to put your memories into how cool you would fit in with the gang.
Yeah, it is that kind of idea that maybe if things had been different back in the past, maybe he wouldn't have been a homicidal maniac now.
Yeah.
But who's to say? I will say, though, I did just, love the scene with Taiju when he believed that Senku is dead, and how there's just that moment of even Tsukasa's like, oh, fuck.
Ooh, I pissed him off.
No, it's like,
yeah.
he's even thinking like, well, I still have her as a hostage if I need it. Because he knows that Taiju was able to take an attack, so it's one of those things. He doesn't know what this guy's capable of if he got pissed. Like, maybe he's like, I could probably take him on, but I don't know for sure. That little bit of doubt, I love that.
I know he would never hurt even a fly, and if I grabbed Yuzihita, I'd be okay, but I just also killed his best friend.
Yeah, it's like, well, this put him into a blind rage at this point. Taiju lift up that boulder and just chunk it in the air like it was nothing almost.
So we see him throw the boulder as Yuzihita throws the gunpowder to confuse Tsukasa, and then guess what? Bam! We get this huge sense of explosion.
Yeah.
And I do love how Tsukasa's like, did they really think this explosion was going to hurt me?
Taiju would not intentionally want to harm him, so he was probably throwing purposefully the boulder to be further away from him, and for the gunpowder to be far enough away that it would be an explosion that would distract him, but not be in such close proximity that it would harm him initially. At least that's how I viewed it.
Yeah.
So he's still of that mindset that Taiju's too sensitive about taking lives or harming others. So that's at least his rationale about what just happened in that fight.
Taiju and Yuzihita brings back Senku with them as they run away, and then we get this flashback to a psychology quiz. We go back to the classroom and we get this simple question of if one person had to die, who are the two people who would live? Yourself, your girlfriend, or your best friend, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I think a lot of people would just say, well, naturally, these two people. But Senku answered that question of, well, I would just figure out the logical question of why can't I just bring back all of them?
Yeah.
We cut back to the present time where now they're trying to figure out Taiju and Yuzihita. Senku is too smart and always thinks 10 billion steps ahead. Let's retrace our steps here.
Yeah. And that's when we get them remembering on how Senku was doing this whole neck
Cracking
thing.
the neck.
So they figured, okay, he was trying to egg Tsukasa on to go for the neck. Meanwhile, they check the back of Senku's head and they see that there's still a tiny bit of petrification on him, just like Yuzahira had on her foot prior.
Correct.
So because the whole thing that the solution and the petrification, when they interact, it still restores any part that was possibly damaged, and that's why the cracks and all that on their faces. Logic is that Senku had planned this, that if they can pour some of that solution on that tiny bit on him, it'll also
restore this cervical vertebrae or something to revive him. Yeah. So my little problem is, now tell me if I'm wrong, right? I'm not trying to sound like a smartass, but if Senku can punch a lion, don't you think that little piece of petrification stone would have just gone away when Tsukasa eliminated it? Just food for thought for everyone. So now we get the second half of this episode of now we figure out what happened, right? Who revived Senku? And it just seemed like, he was smart enough to revive himself back into spring. And I guess it's enough sheer willpower is what broke the petrification fluid for himself.
Yes.
So we see all those moments, and then we get some comedic moments here with the monkeys, and they're like, okay, this guy's shiny, and that's kind of weird, and that's fine. But I'm here just watching myself a bit perplexed. I didn't need this. I wanted to know who the mysterious character was from last episode and how she was going to be tied into this episode.
Yeah, like, I feel like the events that happened in the second half of this episode should have been, like, the events of, like, episode 2. Like, this should have been in the situation of, like, okay, we already saw how Taiju woke up and all this. Now we could have just, like, gone back and explained, like, oh, here's Senku, him waking up.
Yeah.
Like, if it was, like, the very beginning of episode 2, I felt like that would have been a better spot for it to at least, like, get you up to speed on what's going on.
Yeah, because I think episode 4 did such a fantastic job of showing, even through the face of death, Senku believes in the power of science, that I don't need to see this episode give us more examples of how he's in love with science. I got that when he was a kid, into how even through the brink of death, he was still going to show his passion of just, living out life.
And just a lot of it, too, was just, like, showing that, oh, man, it's hard, like, doing all this stuff on my own. Man, I need to get my buddy Taiju back up and running for this, too. But, yeah, it felt like kind of like a little bit dragging in this part. Like, could have done a little bit more or condensed that entire second half story to maybe a more quicker, like, montage.
Yeah, and it's not that I disliked it. I just felt like it was out of place, again, because of what episode 4 established. But, we do see these fun moments, right? It kind of reminds me of a video game RPG where they're like, ding, 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 right? He got food, shelter, and clothing, right? That was pretty much the episode, right?
Yeah, kind of a weaker episode, like...
I would say it's the weakest so far.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Dr. Stone today is kind of like, okay, I think this might be a bit more slower than I anticipated, so who knows where it's going to go from here.
Yeah, hopefully the next episode will pick up a little bit more, like, because they'll probably get back to the main story and also start delving into who was that, like, mysterious person that they saw also lighting a fire.
Yeah. So guys, let me know what you think of the latest episode of Dr. Stone. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comments down below. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more anime content down the road. My name is DJ Miles. I am here with Infinity Joe, and as we always say, to be continued, take care.